There's a new picture book out for educators. Welcome, Pirate Nation, to this episode of the Bedley Brothers.
We are thrilled and excited to have the two most famous, amazing edu-pirates there is out there, the T-Lappers. We have Dave and Shelley Burgess here. We're excited to bring them on for Authors Month, especially with this new inspirational picture book for educators. P is for Pirate. Not only are they publishing books, but they're also publishing books for really amazing teachers that have and educators, all alike, that have incredible ideas, and they're sharing that out there. Welcome to the show, you two.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having us.
Thanks for having us, guys.
And thanks for coming out of that sunny day down there in San Diego to talk with us.
Yeah, it's pretty tough when you're playing Frisbee in 80-degree weather in January.
We apologize to all of you back on the East Coast and in that cold, freezing weather.
Oh, but if they want to come and visit you, you have an extra room, right?
Right.
You have an extra.
I was going to say, now we've got another, 50, 100,000 people are going to move out here when they hear that?
Right.
That's right. That's right.
Forget the freeways now.
Hey, well, start us off. Tell us about this new book. It's a really cool idea. I've been sharing it around my staff, and people have really been loving this and been inspired by the different, just how it's laid out and the ideas that are in it. And tell us about it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so it's a really cool project. This is the first project that we really worked collaboratively on together. So it's called P is for Pirate, Inspirational ABCs for Educators, and it's taking a lot of the Teach Like a Pirate messages and some more messages that we wanted to send out for educators all over the world and put it into a format that makes it really makes it really accessible and just kind of a fun way of doing it. So it's full color, full illustrations, and Shelley worked really closely with the illustrator Genesis Kohler, who did an unbelievable job. Maybe Shelley, you want to tell a little bit about the artwork of the book?
Yeah, sure. We're fans of picture books. We always have been. Love the play of words and pictures to tell a story. And so that piece of it, as much as the words were important to us, the pictures and really making the words come to life were really critical. And so we were really fortunate to find Genesis, who made our vision of what we wanted the pictures to look like come to life.
So how did you narrow down the word? I mean, there's so many. When I think of, like, if I'm choosing a word for P that goes along with education, gosh, like, how did you narrow it down to the ones you chose? Or was there a process, or was it just from the heart, like, this is what we feel?
It started with lots and lots of lists, lots of work with dictionaries, word lists, thesauruses. We really wanted the words to be different. We didn't want words that are typically associated with education, so that was one of the things when you look at the book. The words that are chosen for each letter aren't the typical words that you hear associated with education, so it's not necessarily things like A is for attitude or R is for resilience. We wanted them to be different and be more of a metaphor for some of the things that we think are important to communicate about education.
Well, interesting you said something about P being hard to choose. P was the easiest one. Come on. There was not a chance in the world. There was no chance in the world that P wasn't going to be for pirate. Let me tell you that right now. Okay. But other than that, yeah, we went back and forth, and we had all sorts of different letters. We had different arrangements of them. And then we would see, oh, hey, you know what? We've already hit this message with this letter. So we're going to have to find a new way. Here's something that we want to say. Which letter can we fit that into? And so we kind of just shuffled stuff around back and forth. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of a fun part of the book. It was kind of like a puzzle. It was putting together a puzzle, trying to figure out how we could get all of these messages that we wanted to send within the 26 letters.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so maybe this is too personal. Well, I'll share a personal story and then ask a personal question. This sounds like my wife and I trying to decide on baby names, by the way. I'm not announcing anything. This is my son that we already have. But so were there words that you guys had a little bit of like a wrestle on? Like, this word's too much. I don't like this. And if you don't want to answer.
Yeah, we had a little of that. A little of that. I think what Dave said, though, that was important is that going back to what are the key messages that we wanted to put in the book, and letting that help us when we got stuck on words and letters. And so a little, not too much, but we did have a little.
Yeah, we had some that we liked better than others, and then some that we had to come to a little consensus on. But it was a fun process, and it was awesome to work with her on it.
Very cool.
Hey, let me read one of the letters here. We have E is for elastic. Let's stretch our thinking and empower students to become creators and not just consumers of information. Can they design it, write it, draw it, sculpt it, build it, tweet it, blog it, post it, rap it, sing it, video it, or act it out? Be flexible enough to allow student choice and student voice. That's one of my favorites, and an idea I have for this book is it could be used in your PLCs to just read one of these pages and then generate a discussion with your fellow educators and talking about how does that actually apply to the classroom? How can we use this with our kids? Can you guys share maybe one of your favorite letters out of the book? And you don't have to read it to us. You can tell us about it, or read it to us.
Sure. So I'll start. So I actually have two. I have two favorites they're on the same page actually. So T and U are mine. So I don't know. I can hold it up. T and U. So the T is for tapir, and Dave has a story I think he'll probably tell you about. The T is for tapir.
But before she reads it, I'll tell you the story behind this. See, the tapir, that's Shelley's favorite animal, and it is our daughter Ashlyn's favorite animal as well. And so as we were coming up with like, hey, what are these letters going to be, we got to T, and it was almost jokingly, well, sure, T is for tapir, right? It has to be that. And I was like, well, but how are we going to make that fit? And so we kind of talked about it a little bit, and Shelley said, well, what I like about tapirs is that they're underappreciated animals. They're really cool, but nobody appreciates tapirs like we appreciate tapirs. And so I said, hey, if you want it to be tapir, then I'll make this thing work. And so taking her idea of the underappreciation of the animal, I set out to write tapir, and then when I read it for her, she said that's exactly what I wanted to express. And so it's one of my favorite letters as well. So now you know where it came from. Now she'll read you what tapir says.
Okay. Wait. So for people that are Googling tapir, do you want to tell what a tapir is first?
Make them do the work.
That's right.
Okay, do the work.
There's a long story behind how it became my favorite animal. We'll save that for another time. I know we're short on time. But I'll read you what it says. So it says, T is for tapir. The lions, tigers, bears, and monkeys draw most of the buzz at the zoo. Away from the crowds, dwelling in relative anonymity, reside equally significant and truly fascinating animals. They're the underdogs, the square pegs trying to fit into round holes, and those marching to the beat of a different drummer. Here's to the tapirs of our schools, both students and adults. We are richer because of them. So I love the story behind it. I love that we got my favorite animal in the book, and then really love the message that we have to pay attention to all kids. Every child has something unique about them, something special about them that we have to pay attention to as educators.
Yeah, when I hear that, I just think, again, going back to the idea of just generating discussion with these, how cool would it be to read that and then sit around and say, really analyze which kids in our class are the tapirs and what can we do about it? How can we give them more attention and actually apply what's in the book? And that I just think it's awesome to get your brain going and think about some stuff that we don't normally think of as educators.
Thank you.
Yeah, we look at it the same way, is that we think this is the ultimate book study book. It's the ultimate one to do with a group of teachers that are collaborating, because it's a real easy, low entry point, right? You can read it right on the spot. It's not something where they're going to have to read chapters and chapters and come and ready to discuss. You get together, and you can read it right on the spot and then discuss it. And each of the messages, even though they're very short and simple, there's a lot of they're deep in their simplicity. So you can go really deep on a lot of these messages in the book.
Yes.
Yeah, very cool.
Your favorite? You want to share yours?
Yeah, sure, Dave.
Favorite letter?
Yeah. Well, so as we talked about earlier, this is kind of like choosing your favorite child. There's lots of different ones that I could choose, but I'll tell you, D is for ditch is one of my favorites. And so we're big fans of a teacher in Indiana named Matt Miller. In fact, we're going to be putting out a book by Matt Miller called Ditch That Textbook. And so this is coming straight from Matt Miller. It says, ditch that textbook. Ditch that outdated curriculum. Ditch those preconceived notions of what is right and wrong in the classroom. The worst reason to do anything is because that's the way it's always been done. And so I think this is also a message that needs to get out there that, hey, just because we've done stuff like this in the past, that doesn't have to, we need to innovate, we need to move forward. And so that's one of my favorite messages in the book.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Hey, well, thank you. The show goes so fast. Where can people connect with you? And we wanted to get into just a little bit about, that you're publishing books for other people, and we think it's fantastic. We got a chance to talk to Don on the show in a previous Authors Month episode, and he was fantastic. His book, Pure Genius, is out there right now. And are there other people coming down? You just mentioned one. Are there other people besides that?
Yeah, so it was an honor to work with Don Wettrick to put out Pure Genius. So we published Pure Genius on the Dave Burgess Consulting, Inc. Label. And we have some other authors that are coming out. We have lots of people that have signed on, and we're looking through some other manuscripts. And so we're trying to disrupt the way that traditional educational publishing has been done. We think that typically authors get too low of a percentage. They get cookie-cutter production. They get maybe traditional publishers don't want to take a risk on an outside-the-box kind of idea, a little outside of the mainstream kind of message. And so we're taking a lot of these just inspirational and very unique educators and helping them put their message out, taking what we learned through putting Teach Like a Pirate out and spreading the message of Teach Like a Pirate and helping other educators get their message out. So it's something that we're really excited about. You can connect with us at Shelley on Twitter is Burgess_Shelley, and Shelley is with an EY at the end.
Yeah, people forget that a lot.
And I'm Burgess Dave, so at Burgess Dave on Twitter, and the hashtag that people connect with us at is TLAP for Teach Like a Pirate. You can also reach us at daveburgessconsulting.com. So if you want to see who's writing for us, what books are coming up and all that, daveburgessconsulting.com. But we love to connect with other educators through social media, so jump on Twitter and tweet to us.
Hey, Dave, I got someone I want to introduce you to that might have a manuscript you'd be interested in.
Oh, yeah. And who might that be?
You're talking to his brother. How's that?
Yeah. Is he related to you in some way?
Just a little.
Don't tell.
Sorry.
Well, you just got our contact information.
That's right.
Well, I tell you, it's my memoirs.
It's a one-page novel.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you so
Great
much.
stuff. It's going to sell millions.
Thank you so much for coming on today and taking time out of your Frisbee to join us. And we really appreciate it, you too. And we appreciate what you're publishing and the things that you're pushing out there and the disruption you're trying to make education better for kids. So thanks again for coming on.
Thanks so much for having us. It's been a pleasure.
We really appreciate you guys, and thank you so much for having us on the show.
Absolutely.
Great. And a quick reminder about Global School Play Day. First Wednesday in February each year, and go to globalschoolplayday.com to sign up and join in on the excitement of unstructured play for our kids. Thank you for watching, and thanks for watching, especially Mom and Dad.
Hey, thanks, Mom and Dad.
Bye, guys.